welcome back to DTT, Deep Talk Tuesdays with
Gigs.
and
Mustafa.
and today we're going to be talking about fear. Now, all of us have fear as human beings. I think it's a natural thing, but today we're going to take a little bit of a different perspective on it. And maybe fear could be a good thing because most people say, oh, don't fear anything, be a fearless human being. But in some cases, it could potentially be a good thing. So, what are your thoughts on fear?
See, usually when people talk about fear, is the fear of failure or rejection, and that's what most people.
Basic.
No, that's most people get to like experience in their lifetimes. You know, I want to start this business, but I'm scared of it failing, or I want to talk to that girl, but I'm scared of getting rejected, or I want to apply to this job, but I feel like I'm gonna get rejected. I want to be good at the sport, but I don't want to go through failing and failing and failing, and I feel like that stops us in progressing forward in our life. Do you have something to say about that?
I have to say, when it comes to fear, after God, it's a joke that people they'll be like, after God, fear winning, but you know.
These ladies and gentlemen.
But honestly though, I think fear is a thing that as humans we like, it's inevitable. You know, whether it be like you're scared of ants or roaches or rats. Yeah, there's people that are scared of that. You know, snakes, or you're scared of dying, you're scared of falling, like, you know, you're scared of whatever. I think
Scared of gigs.
nah. But I think what it is, or what it should come down to, is like you being able to like help yourself overcome that fear. Because at the end of the day, the only person that we should be afraid of, and it's not even afraid of, more like
A healthy fear.
A healthy fear is like God. That's what I'd say. So, yeah.
That's interesting. But I think we're talking a little bit more broadly now about fear, you know? So let's go into like fear of missing out, FOMO. Right? When we're talking about FOMO, especially in this young generation of ours, people going out to parties and all this stuff, they're always talking about, oh, it's just a fear of missing out, I'll grow too old, you know? What are your thoughts on that? Because I think you're not really missing out on anything. There is no benefits to going to those type of things. You're not missing out on the lights, the clubs, the bar, the drinks, the drugs. I mean, what are you missing out on?
And I feel like you're taking it a little too like
On the
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like also you fear of missing out. I've been trying to like quit Instagram, for example, for 2 years.
Really?
But then you're like, I would never get to watch the reels that people send me or whatever. It's just even the small things. It's maybe you try to go to like soccer games with our friends, only so that you can have that relationship keep going with them, even though you can do that in other ways. And yeah, it's just even the small little details. Missing out is something that we always face.
Yeah, but do you think we're actually missing out though? Are we missing out, or is it just something that has its due time?
I think, you know, there's some things that are meant for us and some things that are not. And sometimes we try to go to do something in the fear of missing out, but something that's not really helpful to us, or something that's not giving us any benefit. Yeah, there's always sometimes that you miss out on something that might be an opportunity or whatever. But I think at the end of the day, whatever that's supposed to happen to you in your life, it's going to happen, no matter what, you know, circumstances.
Amen, brother. Preach that again.
Yeah, what do you think about fear of missing out?
I'm not gonna lie, I just had one today.
Really?
Yeah. So
I was this podcast.
Yes. Seriously, you think it's a joke? But I was like, earlier today, like, you know, I was rushing and stuff and trying to like drive with my mom and stuff. Like in the back of my mind, I was thinking, oh my God, I'm gonna miss the podcast. Like obviously, it's a thing of like.
See, we care about this podcast,
we
guys.
Really do, guys. Yeah. You should
like and subscribe.
Yup, and subscribe. Don't forget
comment
to
too.
Comment.
Yeah,
and share the video as well.
Yeah, share it too with your friends, family, whoever. They could come on. It's okay. But anyways, you know, like I was having a fear of like, you know, missing the podcast, or like also a thing of like today. Also, I'm actually supposed to be playing a game right now.
Soccer,
Yeah.
co-ed.
Yeah, co-ed.
Mhm.
But like, I was like, honestly, I was thinking in my head, I was like, okay, so if I don't go today, like, am I missing out on something, or is it a thing of like, okay, I can always get that next time? And I just decided, I was like, it's not a thing of priorities. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, we love soccer. Let's be fair. Yeah. So I was just like, I think that's gonna come again. But the opportunity to film this, episode today and stuff like that, see you guys today, that may not come again. But no, chill.
That was something.
Yeah. That
Gigs,
was
guys.
Nah, chill. That went too left. But
No
FOMO is real.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's get deeper with it. What do you think are stuff that FOMO how do you think FOMO affects us? Like, if you actually miss out on something, do you think it's really?
I think it depends on the
depends,
mindset you
yes.
have, man. Because I've been through a lot of situations where, in the moment after you miss the opportunity, you're like, if I had only done this, then that would have happened.
Yeah.
But you also have to think about the consequences of what that thing could have caused. So let's use like applying for a job, for instance. You wanted to be like a technician or something like that.
Right.
But you applied for multiple jobs. This is the one you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You were very close to getting it, but you made one simple mistake that prevented you from getting it. Because that's when we all normally blame ourselves.
Yeah.
You make a mistake and you're like, I should have. But what if you ended up doing that job, getting that job, and then a few weeks, a few days down the line, something terrible was to happen? Then what? Did you really? You didn't miss out. You didn't miss out, man. You got what you wanted, but now you're getting the consequences of not missing out.
So you basically trying to say if that was worth it, like
was not missing out worth it?
Which comes back to the point where I said some things are for you, some things are not for you.
Exactly.
And
if it's meant to be, it will be.
Yeah, you should live life without any regrets, because like you said, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
It's meant to be. I think there's a saying that whatever is meant to. No, I think it comes from the Quran as well, perhaps. But it was that if something is meant for you, if it was stuck in between now, you can correct me if I'm right or wrong, but if it's like stuck in between two mountains, it will never miss you. But if something is not meant for you and it's stuck in between your two hands, you will never get it. See how deep that is?
That's deep.
I think if you live with that mindset, you will truly never miss out on anything. Because I think it's normal human emotion that sometimes things happen and we think we're missing out, but truly there is something bigger on the other side.
And I think it's easier said than done.
Oh,
what are some tips and tricks, advice maybe on how to
manage FOMO?
Yeah.
I say regrets are not bad. Regrets are lessons that you should learn. Right? So let's say, for example, regrets or mistakes are lessons that you should learn, and they're not necessarily bad. Sure, whatever the situation may be bad, but the reason that you have that regret or you made that mistake was for you to learn. And if you don't learn, you're not going to be able to grow.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're always stuck in the mindset of, I am perfect, I can't make no mistakes, I don't have any regrets, then you're not growing. You're stuck in the same place that you are. But if you have the mindset of where you're like, okay, this thing that I did today didn't work out well, it wasn't good or whatever. And then the next day you're like, okay, I did this yesterday and it didn't work out well. So today I'm going to change it so something could work out better. That's growth. Compared to where you're like, I'm perfect, I don't have to do anything, and then you're just stuck there, So I think if you have regrets or if you have anything in life, honestly, pray to God and
that's really it.
Don't think too much about it, because I feel like as humans we tend to get in our head, like where you overthink like situations or things that you do or things that have happened to your life. Forget it. It's not worth it. Just pray about it, write down the list, say, okay, if this is gonna be worth it, then okay. If it's not gonna be worth it, forget it.
See, I was gonna talk about how you're thinking growth. Can you grow while being in fear?
Yes and no.
How?
Depends on the situation. Like, for example, I think fear can be a good thing. Like, it could, stop you from doing something bad.
Mm.
You know, like let's say for example, when we were kids, I don't know, we were afraid of our parents, right? If you were to do something bad and you got a little spanking, or in some people's case, whoopings, you know, next time if you're going to go do that thing, you're not gonna do it. Why? Because that fear in your mind of like, okay, if I do this, I know what comes after.
So you're saying that the consequences
Yeah.
that come, or the fear of consequences makes you a more disciplined person,
Yes.
therefore grows you.
Yeah.
Do you think in any way, for example, I would say people who usually are cautious in life tend to make more logical decisions.
Yeah.
Therefore, there's less impulsivity.
Right.
Is that a word?
Yeah.
Dictionary
go
is-
with it, go with it,
We
go
make
with
it.
it,
We
go
make
with
it.
it.
We make it.
You know,
Yeah.
Oxford Haladas.
So yeah, you're more calculated when it comes to decisions,
Yeah.
and I feel like that comes with the caution of maybe going down a wrong route. You know?
Yeah.
But I feel like the road to success, right? Especially the ones who do make it big.
Yeah.
Contrary to what sometimes I believe, because I'm a facts over. At
Feelings?
times, I can be a facts over feelings guy.
Yes.
But I feel like. But I feel like in the context of success, sometimes it's that irrational decision that takes people to the heights. Like Ronaldo, both of your idols. Supposedly. Do you think he got to where he is just because he made logical decisions? Because if he was to make logical decisions, he'd know that becoming a pro is a 1 in a million chance. So logically, it's not even worth pursuing.
Yeah.
But your want is your why. Your want is so much so that you forgo the logic and you pursue.
I also think.
What do you think about that?
A thing of, it's not just the fear or the logic part. I think it's a thing of your circumstance or your surroundings. Like for example, I could speak on the case of Ronaldo. You know, please, sorry, just subscribe, like, whatever.
Keep dreaming.
He will. We'll be on this podcast.
Let's see
one
who
day.
subscribe before him.
Mark my word, Ronaldo is gonna be sitting on this chair someday. But anyways, in the meantime, so I think it's.
So it's just gonna get replaced.
No. No. But I think it's a thing of where, like, like if you're in a type of circumstance, you can't be, you don't have you can't afford to be afraid because you know in your mind that you have to make it out. So in his situation, I think he didn't have much of a fear of being like, okay, most people don't make it pro, because in his mind he's like, look, this is my only way out. So no matter what, I have to follow it. Compared to whatever other option that he could have had,
Interesting. So you're saying he had nothing to lose, basically.
Basically.
That's
Obviously, maybe injuries and whatnot happen, but I think
all risk.
those are all risks, and he was willing to take that risk because he was like, I'm given two choices, right? Take the risk and go this way, or take no risk and end up in another, angle. So he decided to go for the risk side. So,
Interesting.
yeah.
I feel like, okay, I'm gonna bring this back to like the human animal instinct, where like fear is what makes us survive. I mean, look at animals in the wild.
Yeah.
They're always cautious, prey, predator, all that. Not even the smaller animals. You have a lion that's fearful that it's not going to survive, so it goes out to hunt.
Yeah.
You got smaller animals who are fearful of their life, so they adapt in certain ways in order for them to
maneuver and stuff.
Keep surviving. And I feel like career aside, relationships aside, even as a human being, maybe we don't see it much nowadays, but back in the day, you'd see people who are Third Amendment, right of bearing arms, because why? You're fearful that injustice, crimes, stuff like that would happen to people, and only recently has like that not been such an important. There is still
some of that
situations, but I feel like fear is like an element in our lives that has always been there.
Interesting take.
Do you think it's a thing of where, as humans or as animals or whatever you want to say, fear keeps us alive? Like it keeps us on our toes,
100%.
Like,
100%.
if you're not scared, okay, this is not a good example, but let's say drinking and driving, right? Don't do it, kids. But they say don't do it because they're afraid, right? It's a fear thing. Because if you do drink and drive, you do not know what's gonna happen. You may end up crashing somewhere and dying, right? Or kill someone else. Or a thing of, if there wasn't a thing of that fear, then people would do it. You know what I mean? Or
That's interesting. So since we're talking about that example, it brought up an interesting thoughts, right? Fear is normally there because of what he said, the unknown, right? So let's hypothetically say we humans can see the future, right? We could protect ourselves from guns, right?
Yeah.
How much of fear would be eliminated? And would such a thing exist?
I think fear of the unknown
Because
is
that's
the.
where it stems from.
I think fear of the unknown is the fear that's that keeps us or holds us back in life. You know, I mean, you don't want to. Like I said it before, you don't want to maybe start a business because you're like scared of it failing. You don't want. There's so many things that can go, but I also think that fear of punishment is a great fear to have. You know, if I don't do this homework or if I don't study for this test, my grade is gonna go down,
right.
so on and so forth.
Right.
If I don't get everything together, my life together, and get a job, I'm gonna be broke my whole life.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna be a loser, whatever it might be. I think those are two different fears that we all experience, and being able to tackle both in the way that they should be tackled is, you know, a very good skill to have, you know?
It's very interesting. I do agree with that.
Yeah.
I think you do have to come to a balance at the end of the day, because fear is a good and bad thing.
Yes.
But it just depends on the situation and where you have to at least maybe be logical about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I would say.
Fear can protect you, but fear can also hold you back, depending on what the situation is.
True.
So you can either be protected by it, or you can be strangled by it. Make your choice.
Make your choice indeed. Well, that does it, guys. Let us know what you think in the comments about this episode. But I've finished. Smile. Go ahead.
I've been Gigs.
And it's been Mustafa.
Until next time.
Peace. With that being said, unfortunately, we're gonna put this in there. Unfortunately, some people right now are trying to interrupt our recording session.
It's not us.
It's
We're
not
gonna
us.
talk more.
It's not us. We would
calm
like to
though,
give you
isn't it?
more, but you know, we're being interrupted. But I've been Gigs.
I've been Ismail.
I've been Ishmael too.
We'll see you next week.
Push back king!